Hello and welcome to another update video about ADA. ADA is still consolidating just below 30 cents, but there's still upside pressure. We want to talk about the bigger picture here, talking about the price action of the December lows. Then we want to talk about the microstructure that I showed you yesterday, if there are any changes needed. I think there are some just minor changes. I still don't want to give up on the idea that we could push a little further, at least into the resistance area. We also talk about why we saw a little bit of weakness yesterday. And yeah, be aware, maybe to start with, be aware that I think it's this week. This week we've got the Cardano conference in Dubai going on. So maybe that sparks a little bit of short-term volatility if we see positive sentiment in the crypto space, because normally nobody cares about these conferences unless we are in a more bullish, let's say, sentiment situation. You hear about these conferences all the time in a bull run or in a more bullish environment. In a bear market, people don't talk about it. People start to talk about it. So it's Cardano Summit. It's between the 2nd and the 4th of November. Last year, nobody cared, literally. I think this year, people start to care a little bit more. It's getting interesting again. You see it hyped a little bit. Same with the Solana conference, of course, which is Breakpoint, I think they call it, and which is already running. So Cardano Summit is between the 2nd and the 4th of November in Dubai. So again, just be aware that could maybe, I mean, sometimes it has an impact on price. Just short-term volatility doesn't really change the trend or anything. The trend is up anyway, short-term at least. Looking at the bigger picture, I mean, honestly, still, there's nothing that tells me here that ADA would have bottomed. In the end, all it's doing right now is it's just following our forecast, and it's finally hit this target area that we've been talking about for months. So that is the area between 30 and 34 cents. It just took so long for it to move sideways and to consolidate, and then to finally start this last wave of the triangle. So this is still an Elliott wave triangle in the white wave count. A wave, B wave, C wave, D wave, and the E wave now unfolding. Nothing unusual about the price behavior. I always had that white box on the chart, right? Because that was the ideal target for an E wave in a triangle. That means consequently, there are a few things to talk about. So first of all, that box is between basically 30 and 34 cents. We reached it in the last few days, and now the price has difficulties to push through, which is no surprise because we call it a pivot. It's basically an area where the price will have to make a decision, you know, between the bulls and the bears and so on. And if we see the bulls leave this area behind, then it will certainly emphasize the idea of the yellow wave count, which, as I said, also became more likely due to the general phase change and sentiment shift that we can see in the crypto market. It's still very early, it's still very fragile. We don't want to fall out of our chairs from, you know, because we're so excited. Absolutely not. It's too early, but we are in a situation in which also ADA possibly could be changing the trend. Now, as I explained to you yesterday, even if we break above this area, it would reduce the likelihood of a direct breakdown, okay? It would reduce that. At the moment, this white wave structure still definitely allows for another bear market low in the area around 15 cents. However, if Bitcoin continues to go up, there's a likelihood that ADA will follow. But of course, that's not a given, right? I mean, even Bitcoin could break below support, and then we'll likely see that. So at the moment, I can only tell you we have reached a key area where certainly we need to be on high alert for rejection and a move down maybe to 15 to 20 cents. That absolutely can happen. If it happens, it ideally happens from here, okay? Not in the last few days, no, ideally from here, because this is the next pivot. It's a pivotal area. Okay, if the bulls can push through, then we have an increased likelihood of the yellow wave count, which I'm already monitoring with interest due to the, as I said, the phase change in the crypto market. It could develop a 5-wave move, but only in a diagonal pattern. Wave 1, wave 2, we could now be in wave 3, there could be a 4 and a 5. If that happens, it would be a diagonal pattern. Now that could be an ending diagonal in a larger A, B, C structure. So it would also be bearish and could still make another low afterwards. So it is not going to be until after we've had all 5 waves in the yellow wave count, followed by a 3-wave pullback, that we can call that a 1-2 setup, that we can say, okay, ADA likely bottomed and we move higher, okay? That doesn't mean you have to wait to trade this until we have confirmation, but from an Elliott wave point of view, that's what I would need, okay? Because at the moment, the bottoming structure looks highly, highly unusual. it just doesn't look finished. Okay, why? Because we only have 3 waves down here. You want to have a nice 5-wave move down at the end. This is a 3-wave move. That's the problem with crypto. Sometimes when we have these rapid sell-offs, I mean, I can't, you know, maybe this wave 4 and 5 is hidden in there, you know. Ideally, we would have said, okay, this is a wave, you know, 1, 2, whatever, quickly, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. But it didn't do that, okay? So, therefore, it's a kind of incomplete bottoming structure. We have to still consider that another low is likely, okay? But, you know, the short-term trend is up, so we're tracking an uptrend, and then just monitor with interest if the bulls can push it higher. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. And yesterday we talked about, okay, we can probably still push higher. It pushed higher, made you aware of this trend line and highlighted that we likely have to face a rejection there, which we saw, okay? So, however, you know, you can't really count this anymore as an impulse to the upside with this rejection here. So the idea is, that off this low, I mean, I'm tracking a 5-wave move up here, okay? I'm tracking that in the bearish count, but only to keep it simple. If this forms 5 waves, and then we get a 3-wave move down, that might be a setup for higher, okay? So I would track that once we have this upside complete and I see that we get a pullback. At the moment, I'm counting this as a 1-2, which basically the wave 1 completed on the 21st of October. Wave 2 bottomed here, 25.5 cents on the 22nd of October. The idea would now be that we completed the 3rd wave on the 24th of October. I made you aware of that yesterday. We talked about that, not only yesterday, the days before. It's not a great count, okay, as best we've got with this messy structure. And again, don't treat this as like predictive. This is only giving you a roadmap. Micro counts, especially when we're dealing within, you know, with an E wave in a correction, it's extremely corrective. So then I highlighted to you that this could have been triangle. Wave 4 ended here. We might be in wave 5. The thing is, this doesn't really look like this. I mean, it's okay. It's not an invalid count. You know, we held support. We never broke below the previous wave 2 low. But looking at the price action, I think it might make more sense to shift the wave 4 back here. I think that's where I had it initially. And then that we're basically already in wave 5, here in circle wave 5, yes. But that this circle wave 5 unfolds as an ending diagonal. So basically, as something that you could call a bit of a, maybe even a bit of a wedge pattern. Oops. More like that, okay. Which might push a little higher, but it could get already towards the end of it, okay. So, and then if we highlight that, it would be a 5-wave move in wave 5, 1, okay. So we have a corrective move up in wave 1 in a diagonal, wave 2, then this would be the wave 3, 4, and it could give us one more push higher in wave 5. We'll see if this trend line is stopping it, or have to change the wave degree. But that's just an idea. I mean, there are many ways how this could be counted. Microstructures are really only there to give you an idea when 5 waves get completed, when we get into exhaustion. You know, when is this going to change and trend? Well, most likely, well, first of all, if we break out of this trend line to the downside, I think that would be a warning, okay? And especially then if we break below the key level, which is the wave 2 low here, that's the key level at 28 cents. If that level breaks, I assume that we have completed 5 waves. So that means we then will have to be on high alert for another bear market low. If it happens from there, ideally. At least it's a great point to really, if this setup, it's not a setup. If this reverses, and it should be in the last stages, to be honest, at least from what I can see here, well, then it should be a sharp reversal, and if it breaks down, it will make new bear market lows, okay? So, however, because it's also a 5-wave move, there is obviously the bullish case that I mentioned to you already, okay? So we are gonna see if it can hold a higher low as well. But first of all, we're tracking higher against 28 cents. But it tells you that we're getting most likely, probability-wise, to the end of this 5-wave structure. Because of this, it can always extend higher, right? I mean, until we have confirmation it's breaking down, it just tells you the risk is increasing, because probably the highest probability move of this rally is done. But we'll see, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Anyway, we've reached the target. Now it's now a little bit of a wait and see. It's a bit of a wait and see. I'll keep you updated. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.